Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. The World Endurance Championship is about to embark on a new era. The age of the hypercar is about to get into full swing, with more cars than you can swing a prancing horse at. So let's go through the grid before the 1000 miles of Sebring gets started and look at the drivers who have been honoured with driving these beautiful machines. And we are not just looking at the hypercars, we are going to have a quick gander at the LMP2 and GT classes in this new streamlined World Endurance Championship. So subscribe now and let's get into the 2023 World Endurance Championship grid. Cadillac Racing. You'll recognise this entry from the IMSA in America, but they are entering a car into the WEC, with double Le Mans winner Earl Bamber leading the charge. Alex Lynn has 2 wins for Cadillac at Sebring in the IMSA and experience in the WEC in the GT and LMP2 class, and is a Formula E race winner, whilst Richard Westbrook got on the Le Mans podium with Glickenhaus in 2022 and is an experienced Le Mans and IMSA racer. A good lineup for Cadillac run by Chip Ganassi, an experienced and successful team in their own right. This is Cadillac's return to Le Mans, last appearing over 20 years ago, and there is a lot here to be hopeful about. Ferrari AF Course. The return of Ferrari to the world of sports car racing is a huge deal, and their first challenger in 50 years is the absolutely sublime looking 499P. If it is as fast as it looks good, then the rest of the field will be in trouble. Experienced GT class winners James Collado and Alessandro Pierguidi are joined by former Alfa Romeo Formula 1 driver and Formula E flop Antonio Giovinazzi, looking to very much rehabilitate his name in racing circles, whilst Nicholas Nielsen, Miguel Molina and Antonio Falco are all experienced campaigners who have had some level of success with AF Course. A good lineup for Ferrari, a good looking car. Can they succeed in endurance racing where they failed recently in Formula 1? Floyd Van Wall Racing Team. Only the most die-hard of Formula 1 fans and maybe their granddads remember the Van Wall Formula 1 team, despite their Constructors' Championship win in 1958. This is not the same team, this is Baikal's Racing in disguise. They've been MIA since 2020, but now return to endurance racing with the brand new Van der Velde 680, and 3 experienced drivers. Tom Dillman has raced for Coles, but has not had a lot of success. Esteban Guerreri is coming from the world of touring cars, and is a serial winner, but their final driver is the most baffling. Jacques Villeneuve is a name many will know. The 1997 Formula 1 World Champion has not done a lot of note recently. One NASCAR race in 2022, a couple of wins in European NASCAR in 2021. His last World Championship drive was 3 appearances for Venturi in Formula E that went really badly. He hasn't won a championship since his Formula 1 win 26 years ago, and has only won 3 races in those 26 years. A marquee signing by name, but a liability in practice. Glickenhaus Racing. The American team did manage to grab a couple of podiums in 2022, including the 24 Hours of Le Mans. So they are improving, but this is going to be a tough year with a lot more competition. Romain Damas and Olivier Pla remain with the team for another year, as does Australian Ryan Briscoe. So, 3 seasoned campaigners who know the car. It puts Glickenhaus in the best possible position, but they cannot rely on getting results because other cars don't finish. They're going to have to perform, and results are going to be tough to come by for Glickenhaus. Peugeot Total Energies. They need to do better. Their debut year was full of mechanical issues. Paul di Resta and Jean-Eric Verne are 2 former Formula 1 drivers, and the latter is a 2-time Formula E champion, still challenging at the front in that series in 2023. Mikel Jensen is an experienced and successful endurance racer. Gustavo Menendez won races in LMP1 for Rebellion, including 2 podiums at Le Mans. Loic Duval won the championship and Le Mans with Audi, and Nico Müller is a race winner in DTM. Peugeot have the drivers, they just need the car to work. 2 4th place finishes in 2022, and every other result is a DNF, or so far down the field they couldn't even describe the back of the Toyota. If Peugeot can give their drivers a decent car, then they could be trouble. Porsche Penske Motorsport. The most successful Le Mans winning team ever in Porsche, joining with American giants Penske for a new assault on the World Endurance Championship and Le Mans. It's hard to bet against them. The Porsche 963 made its debut at the 24 Hours of Daytona, and reliability was a big issue. They could have been on for the win if not for a gearbox problem. Porsche can take that useful information and use it in the World Endurance Championship. Dane Cameron is a multiple-time IMSA winner, and Michael Christensen is a GT champion in WEC. Frederic Machiavecchi has class wins at Le Mans. Kevin Estre is another GT champion and Le Mans class winner. Laurens Vanthoor has won the GT class in the IMSA twice and has a class win at Le Mans, whilst the ancient Andre Lotterer has won Le Mans 3 times with Audi and is a former WEC champion. So, very good drivers, and if they can sort out their early teething troubles, potentially race-winning drivers. Championship wins coming in the future. Toyota Gazoo Racing. Same drivers, same car, same Toyota. The team to beat, as they have the most experience in running a hypercar, and they have dominated the World Endurance Championship and Le Mans for the last 5 years. Out of the last 37 races going back to the start of 2017, Toyota have won 28. All their drivers have won Le Mans and the World Endurance Championship, and it's near impossible to bet against them to do it all again in 2023. The last team to beat them was Porsche, so maybe history can repeat itself, but Toyota still have the advantage whilst the other teams find their feet. There are a couple of privateer entries from Hertz and Proton that will be running Porsche 963s eventually, potentially at Le Mans. But now let's move on to LMP2. Alpine Elf Team. The French manufacturer are dropping down from the hypercar class to LMP2, and given their experience of running at the top of the field, they should be pretty good at it. They had an outside chance of beating Toyota in 2022, and they bring 2 cars with experienced drivers. Mathieu Vaxivière and Andre Negro jumped down with Alpine, with former LMP2 champions Julien Canal and Charles Malaysia, and former European Le Mans champion Memo Rojas, with Ollie Caldwell joining after an unsuccessful year in Formula 2 with Campos. A very good lineup of drivers for Alpine and a lot of experience running in the World Endurance Championship. Into Europole competition. The Polish team didn't do great in 2022, 15th overall with a best finish of 4th at Monza. Jakub Smikowski is back and joined by Fabio Scherer and Albert Costa. None of these drivers have had a lot of success, and they will be probably one of the lower end teams in LMP2 in 2023. Jota. Last year's LMP2 champions have only 1 car, and they retained only 1 of their drivers. Oliver Rasmussen, who did not drive in the championship winning Jota, did at least get a couple of podiums in 2022, including at Le Mans. He is joined by fellow Dane David Heinemeier Hansen, a rich computer programmer who moonlights as a race driver and has had some success in endurance racing. And finally, Pietro Fittipaldi. Since his 2 races in Formula 1 back in 2020, he has done very little. He's still a Haas reserve driver, but he hasn't won a race since 2017. Maybe he can change that in 2023. Prema Racing. Increasing to 2 cars for the very successful Italian team. Andrea Caldarelli is a Lamborghini factory driver, slated to race in their own hypercar project debuting in 2024. He has done very little racing in the last few years. Philip Ugran was unimpressive in Formula 3, whilst Bent Viscal was unimpressive in Formula 2. Juan Manuel Correa is also down to race at some point, but otherwise, it's a very strange lineup in their first car. With experienced racer Mirko Bortolotti, former Formula 1 driver Daniel Kvyat, and lady racer and 2022 Ferrari Challenge Europe champion Doriane Pin in the other car, they should have mixed up their lineups a bit. Their best 3 drivers are in 1 car. Team WRT. Louis Delatraz and Robert Kubica returned to the team they won the 2021 European Le Mans Series with, joined by Angolan Rui Andrade for 2023. The team have retained Robin Freund and the pretty hopeless Sean Galil, teamed with Ferdinand Habsburg, the son of an Austrian duke whose real name is longer than my potential YouTube career. In 2021, he won the championship and the LMP2 class at Le Mans with WRT and the 2022 European Le Mans Series with Prema, so the Austrian royalty is an endurance king. United Autosports. The team destined to win this championship because they have our boy, Freddie Lubes. Frederick Lubin is moving from Euroformula to the WEC, joined by the very experienced Ben Hanley and Felipe Albuquerque. Josh Pearson, Oliver Jarvis and Tom Blomqvist take the other car, and they are very experienced too, but car number 22 is the one to watch. Lubes for the win. Vector Sport. I don't know much about Vector Sport. Matthias Kaiser is from Liechtenstein and has a couple of years of European Le Mans behind him. At 32, I presume he's an amateur and probably royalty of some kind or a very rich banker. Ryan Cullen exists and raced for Vector last year, and Gabriel Aubrey did take some wins at this level for Jackie Chan Racing. You won't notice this team. Finally, we move on to the GT class, and rather than go through every team, we'll go by car because it's just easier and I am a hack. Porsche 911 RSR 19. Proton are running a couple of Porsches in the GT class. No drivers really stand out except maybe Harry Tinknell, who raced for them in 2022. The Iron Lynx and Iron Dames teams have moved from Ferraris to Porsches, and the Iron Dames were getting some good results last year. GR Racing have a car with Ben Barker racing for them for the 7th year running. And finally, Project One have extreme sports fan Gunnar Jeanette making his first appearance at Le Mans since 2012. PJ Hyatt, who owns the team and is a software guy worth $1 billion, and Matteo Cairoli, who is very experienced. Pretty meh drivers in Porsches in the GT class, but Proton are normally near the top, and watch the Iron Dames for some top results. Ferrari 488 GTE Evo. Of the 4 Ferraris involved, 3 are run by AF Corse in some capacity, and they have a smattering of their own drivers across both theirs and the Richard Mille car. All are experienced drivers, with even the youngest having had success with a Ferrari at some point. David Rigon, Thomas Fleur and Francesco Castellacci is the pick of the cars for me. Kessel Racing also have a Ferrari and Daniel Serra is a very good driver, but I think the 54 AF Corse Ferrari is the pick of these, and come year's end, the 2023 WEC GT champions. Aston Martin Vantage AMR. The Aston Martin is pretty old at this point, based off the 2018 car. Still going strong with it are TF Sport, who are running 2 of the 3 Aston entries. The D-Station car has a more Japanese feel, but the ORT by TF with Charlie Eastwood, Ahmed Al-Hati and Michael Dinan is probably the pick of the Astons. Axel Jeffries, Paul Dallalana and Nicky Thiem for the Northwest team are also pretty okay. Chevrolet Corvette C8R. Our final car is the sole Corvette entry, with Nicky Katzberg, who has just won the Asian Le Mans Series, Ben Keating, who won this class in an Aston in 2022, with Nicolas Veron tagging along. It'll be interesting to see how well the sole Corvette does in this field, but Keating and Katzberg are very good drivers. They could take a win or two. So that is the lineup for the 2023 World Endurance Championship. I'm sure other drivers will float in and out, plus Le Mans will have a much larger grid, of course. I am very excited for this hypercar era, and with even more hypercars on the horizon, this series is about to explode. If I didn't make it clear, my championship predictions are the number 7 Toyota, United Autosports entry with top lad Freddie Lubes, and the AF Corse Ferrari with David Rigon and friends. Leave your predictions down below and any thoughts you have about hypercars. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a good one.